Alright guys, we're moving on to lesson 15. Let's read expressions in which letters stand for numbers. Alright, so the open an exercise, you'll see a graphic organizer. Alright, it says addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponents. Alright, the only thing you don't see is parentheses. The rest of them you'll see something in common. It has to do with our order of operations. Remember, we have PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction. So these are what we're going to do a graphic organizer with mathematical words that indicate each operation. Okay, some of the words may indicate more than one operation. So right now, I want you to take a couple minutes and write down as many words as you can underneath each operation. For instance, under addition, you could add would be one of them. Increased by, plus, there's 3 words right there. Get as many as you can. All right, just like subtraction, you'll have difference. Subtract, fewer than. Things you learned in elementary school to look at word problems to know if you add, subtract, multiply, divide, all of that, use that. And we just went over division, so you know at least a few for that one, because I already talked to you guys about quotient, and divide. All right, so write as many words as you can. Mr. Holcroft, if you don't mind, if you'd pause this video for just a couple minutes so they could write down as many words as they can for the opening exercise. Just give them a couple minutes and then you could resume the video. All right, let's start with addition and subtraction. So I'm gonna write addition, addition, and subtraction. Okay, so if you don't have some of the words that I have, add them to your paper, because the more the better, and it'll help you with this worksheet and with further future problems. If you have more, that's great. All right, so we already talked about sum for addition, add, and increased by. So let's add some more. All right, so in elementary school we learned more than. If you have more than something, you're adding it all together. Like if I said Sarah had 4 balls and Jake had 6 balls, how many balls do they have to play all together? All right. Total is another one. Plus, everyone should have that. Plus, in all. I think it's all minus 3. All right, so now if you have more, that's great. If you don't have some of these, please add those to yours now. Let me fix that D. All right, so let's look at subtraction. The first one we have would be difference. Like, what's the difference between one thing and another? You would be subtracting. So difference, subtract, obviously. Fewer than. Remember, in addition, we had more than. So for subtraction, we'll have fewer than. And instead of plus, the opposite of plus is minus. All right. Less than. Another way to say fewer than, which is both the opposite of more than. Okay, how many more? Ooh, why am I writing two more? All right, how many more? Another way. Left, how much do you have left? And then decreased by. So in addition, we have increased by. Now we're doing decreased by for subtraction. Fill these in if you're missing any. This is your time right now. All right, because next we're going over multiplication, division, and exponents. I'll go and start erasing this side. Finish writing anything for subtraction you do not have. Erase this. We're going to do it smaller now. Multiplication. Oops. All right, so we have multiplication. Division. And exponents. All right, so for multiplication, we will have product, one was in our last lesson, multiply, which is obvious, times, another one is obvious that you should all got, every, one you might not have known, every is a word meaning multiply, double, triple, even quadruple we had in our other one, like you multiply, you're going to multiply, maybe that's this lesson, but any of those words like this, double, triple, any of those, that means multiply. Of is another one, as much, and then each. Remember, write these down if you don't have them. Division, the first one that we had a lot in our last lesson was quotient. Alright, then we have divide, each. Remember how it said that some words may indicate more than one operation? Both of these can mean either one. It can mean division or multiplication, each. Per is another one for division, and then split. You're splitting something, you're obviously dividing it. And then our last one is exponents, and there's only a few for that one. Exponents, you always bring it to the power of something, like 5 to the third power, which is cubed. Another one for exponents. Or 6 to the second power, which is squared. Our last one we have for exponents. Those are all words. If it says squared, cubed, power of, those are all exponents. All right, so then if you look at example 1a, it says write an expression using words, and they'll give you, like, the first one's a minus b. So what you're going to do on a lot of this is use the words that you did for your graphic organizer to fill these in. So the first one is a minus b. All right, think of a way we could write that using the words in our graphic organizer. I'll give you a second to try to think of how you would write that. Really easy. A minus b, you could just write that in words, a minus b. Okay, if we want to make it a little more complicated, you could say a decreased by b, or b subtracted, if we want to flip this, from a. So it's b subtracted by a decreased by b, a minus b. So a minus b. So any of those would work for problem A. Alright, so go ahead and try to do B. If it says X and Y together, that means that you are to what? We've talked about this a bit on the board, so go ahead and fill it out in words. Use your graphic organizer to help. Then I'm about to go over it. Okay, so we had X, Y. Alright, so when they're next to each other like that, remember, that means you multiply them. So that one is, you could write the product, because if you look at your graphic organizer, product is a word for multiplying. The product of X and Y. Okay, that's one way you could do it. Or just X multiplied by Y. Or if you want to be really easy, X times Y. Any of those would work. It all means that you multiply them. That's just showing there's 3 different ways to write the same thing of X, Y, which is X times Y. Alright, flip your page over. Go ahead and start filling out C, D, E, F. I'm going to give you time to do that. You should be able to go on yourself. It's just making words just like this, how we did A and B. You're going to do the same thing for C, D, E, and F. Then you're going to have the exercises. Look down at your exercises real quick. Alright, it says, circle all the vocabulary words that can be used for the given expression. Alright, let's go over the first one, and then you guys will do the rest on your own. The first one says 6h minus 10. And the words that it gives you is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Alright, first I want to look at this. Let me fix that 10. Oh, it's still a little ugly. There we go. Alright, first I want to look at the first one. Do you see any addition? Alright, well we know this means multiplying. There's subtraction signal, so no, addition won't be 1. Alright, the next one's subtraction. Alright, subtraction is right there, so you're going to circle subtraction. The third one is multiplication. Well, 6h means 6 times h, so it has multiplication. The last one is division. Obviously, we don't see any division here, or it'd say divided by, or this symbol with like the fraction symbol, or this. There's none of that in that problem, so division is not 1. So for the number 1, you should have subtraction and multiplication circled. Alright, you'll do the same thing for 2, 3, and 4. Alright, quickly look at 5 through 10 on the next page. This one says write an expression using vocabulary words to represent each given expression. You're going to be doing the same thing as we did on the front page for example 1, A and B. Well, no, A through F. It's the same thing. The first one is A, 8 minus 2G. Okay, you'd say, well, there's a subtraction symbol. One way you could write that is 8 minus the product, because 2G, remember that means 2 times G, the product of 2 and G. Let's Remember, the product means you multiply of these two numbers. Those are numbers you multiply. So that's one way to say it. Just remember to use your graphic organizer to complete those. Then turn it over to your problem set. Alright, number 1, it says list 5 different vocabulary words that could be used to describe each given expression. Alright, number 1 says A minus D plus C. Okay, I see you see addition and subtraction symbol. So all you have to do is go back to your first page. Okay, give a few words for addition and a couple for subtraction. You could say, for addition, sum, add, total, more than, increase. Any of those words that we went through. For the subtraction part, you could say subtract, decrease, difference, fewer than, minus, any of those. All it wants is 5 total for each one. So you could do 3 addition, 2 subtraction, 4 addition, 1 subtraction. Make sure you have at least one of addition or subtraction on there and the rest of the other. Alright, so do that for A, B, and C. And then number 2 on problem set, it says write an expression using math vocabulary for each of these expressions below. That is one. That is one. I don't know what I just did. That is one that is like example. Look at example 1A through F again. You're doing the same thing. Most of this is wanting you to use expression with the math vocabulary for expressions. So fill in those as well. You'll have more time for this one since it does take more time. And then we'll go over it when Mr. Holcroft feels like everyone is mostly done. If you finish this one ahead of time, ask him for the next worksheet. Do not turn it in until I go over it though. Alright, take your time. Remember, this is not group work. Y'all have lost that privilege today. You're working alone. Maybe if I see everyone working well today and nobody getting in trouble, I might allow y'all to work in groups tomorrow as we do this. Alright, I'll be back to go over this worksheet. Remember, try your best. If you don't get it, do not ask for help. I'm going to be back on here to help you guys. Go to the next question. You have your word banks to help you, your graphic organizer. Try your best.